Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ZombiesLvBacon podcast. This is episode 23. Still in lockdown, number 6 for us. I think Australia's kind of just living with it now. It's fine. It's fine. I didn't go outside much anyway. This just sort of confirms that I didn't, because not much has changed. Anyway, we're joined today by 2 guests. First being Shelby.
Yeah, I'm here again. I'm in lockdown, so I can't go very far, you know.
And also, Norstar.
They call me Cuervo because I don't believe a word these hoes say.
What the hell does it? What's a Cuervo?
I fucking knew she wouldn't get it. You Australians.
What's a Cuervo?
Yeah.
Jose Cuervo. It's a tequila brand.
Yeah, it is. It's tequila.
I don't really look at brands of tequila.
When was the last time you drank tequila, Shelby?
Probably when I was like 21. I like to get the one with the little hat on it.
I'm actually good about to drink some tequila.
I also drank. Last time I drank tequila was the one with the little hat on it. I don't know if it's about someone is.
Wait. One with the little hat?
It has a hat on the
and
bottle.
it is in America too. I know it for a fact. There's a little tequila.
What's it called?
Tequila you can get that has a little hat on it. You know what? I'm going to do the research right now. I'm going
do
to
the
find
research
out.
right now. I can tell you that I stumbled into. It was a Sunday night, and I was half tanked already. And there was only a hotel bar that was open in the street from where I was working at the time at a youth organization, volunteering, doing film and media mentorship there. And I walked into this bar, and I'm like, I feel like tequila, because I think we went out, like, had Mexican the night before, and maybe we did a bit of tequila then. And I'm like, woo, that was fun. Let's keep that ball rolling. We found the one with the little hat.
Problem. You can't do that with tequila.
Wow.
You drink it, and then you kind of just don't.
So I got that whole bottle with the little hat on it, because that was funny. Went back to the office, was editing stuff for the week. It was just me and my girlfriend at the time, and we just got hammered in this office, and like we're just drunk. We were drunk and we didn't really get much work done. We just ended up playing like Age of Empires and like screwing around playing games and shit. And I remember the next day, the boss was like, "Yeah, so you guys have a party?" And we're like, "No." They're like, "Were you guys here last night working away?" He's like, "Yeah, just working away." "Just working away?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just working away." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he gave me the little red hat. He's like, "Really?" I'm like,
Shit. I found out recently, actually, the little hat is apparently you put salt in the little hat, and then you can put a shot glass over it and dip your shot glass in the salt easily. It's meant to have a purpose. I just thought it was like a fun little hat for your bottle.
No. Is you meant to put salt.
And here I am this whole time. I was like,
you gotta salt the rim,
licking salt off of people for my tequila.
Excuse me.
There's nothing wrong with that, Shelby. That's fine. That's a perfectly normal experience. Don't let anyone tell you different.
If I knew that I was meant to put salt in the hat, it would have been so much easier this whole time.
You know what? Thanks to COVID, that's probably never going to happen again. No longer taking salt shots off random strangers in bars.
No more body shots off of people. And they weren't strangers, and they weren't in bars, but you know.
They weren't strangers?
Well, where were they?
They were my friends at my friend's house.
I've definitely.
You're taking shots off of people at your friend's house?
You're telling me you haven't done body shots off of your friends?
Yeah, but not at their houses.
Why not at their houses?
Because if we're drunk enough to be doing shots off of each other, we don't need to be at each other's houses.
What does that mean?
It's a house
Where
party.
are you then? McDonald's car park? What's going on?
Listen. You never know where the night takes you, okay?
Yeah, right.
I have never been to like a nightclub, and I've never really been to like a proper bar.
Oh, really?
Because it's part social anxiety, part like I never felt like I fit the bill of somebody who goes clubbing. Like so,
all right,
but we had wild house
I used to leave
parties.
high school early so I can go get ready for the club.
Yeah. Well, I used to go to the club. Actually, no, I lie. My friends were like the kind of people that would be like, "There's no point going to the club until like midnight." Because that's when, like, it's really popping, you know? So we just go at midnight. I'm like, but they ended up lining up in a fucking hour at the front trying to get into the place. Like, I'll go there at 5 p.m. I'll see you there at midnight. That was me. But Shelby, to what I was going to say is a little hint for you, right? People in the clubs usually are drunk and don't care what you look like.
That's factual.
I think it's more of a case of, well, like I lived in a small town where everyone who went to the one club in town was from my high school.
Yeah, same.
And I probably would have gotten into a fist fight. But
that's fair.
Look,
Stop fighting people.
Instead of like,
is Shelby standing at the front when you come out? I'm gonna
wait.
Well, I just remember though, one time there was like a nightclub going, the average one in town, and across the road for like years and years, there's been a guy who sets up a kebab van and he just sells kebabs to people coming out of the club.
Yes.
I visited the kebab van more than
guy.
Wow,
that's our equivalent. That is our equivalent to hot dog man.
We had a Burger Man in our town. He had a trailer pulled up. Yeah.
I was the pizza lady.
I'm surprised you didn't have a guy that sold
van.
orange slices.
But it's like we talked about it in the podcast before when I met Harry Potter Man, the drunk guy, and like that town, which is it's a small country town sort of thing. They have like 4 or 5 bars maybe, but it's like a pilgrimage to KFC at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's where everyone goes. They don't have the burger van or the hot dog van or whatever. And like the town I grew up in, we had an Irish pub, a Bogan pub, and then a club. And that was it. 1, 2, 3. And then that's sort of how you divided it. And most people end up at the club. But then I spent a lot of time at the Irish bar, and the youth organization that I worked at, which I had keys to the office, was across the road. So I used to just crash in there and sleep. It was fucking brilliant.
Harry Potter Man?
Yeah,
I'm called him Harry Potter.
You haven't listened to the podcast, Norstar?
I'm vaguely remembering this, but I don't know.
That's the guy that was tied. I went there and there was a guy who was tied to a chair, and I got roped into his bucks party because he thought I looked like Harry Potter.
Which he looked nothing like Harry Potter.
I do remember that. Yeah. That's nothing like my meeting Jesus. Did we ever talk about that?
Jesus?
No. I want to know about you meeting Jesus.
All right, so I was out in California. It was like 2012. My sister lived out there, and we went out to Rodeo Drive. And so Rodeo Drive, it's a different world. So like your average, Camrys and Hondas that you would see on a daily basis in just small towns or just not rich towns. Theirs were like Mercedes and BMWs everywhere. It's like you were low class if you were driving that. Yeah, but it was a fun experience. But we were walking by, I don't remember what store it was, and this dude is just sitting on the side. He's got one foot down on the ground, one leaning on the wall, his back's on the wall. He's holding a Starbucks cup. He's dressed as Jesus. He's got the sandals, he's got the whole get up, his hair, face, and he just looked like Jesus. And I said, "Jesus, is that you?" He said, "I can't confirm nor deny."
Oh, that's crazy.
I was like, if you're Jesus, you have to tell me Jesus. That's the rule.
Just gotta think, how do you prove it's Jesus? Yeah.
It's Jesus rules. I didn't know there were Jesus rules. Are they in the Bible?
I don't know. I've never read the Bible.
It reminds me of this story, and I've talked about my Brazilian housemate for the longest time, which I'm starting to realize now. Just inviting a stranger to live in your house is great for content.
Hard to like this guy more and more you talk about him.
He's great. I should get him on the podcast, except that they're like, he'd probably just be getting out of bed at this point because they're so fucking behind the times. Damn Western Australians. Anyway, not so much now because COVID. Fuck you, COVID. But Melbourne has a comedy festival, which is pretty fucking good. Like it's like they get a lot of international acts, they get a lot of big stage acts, but they also do lots of little stuff. Like every bar has their own comedy stuff going on. It's over the time of 2 weeks. I tend to go see a lot of Australian and sort of like that mid to low tier, like funny enough to get on radio, but not funny enough for TV. That sort of that kind of tier of comedian is like the sweet spot. But I'd go see like 30 shows over comedy week because I just love it. I love laughing, Anyway, this year I had no plans. I didn't book nothing, and we just went into the city, and they literally had like tents like pitched up around in the CBD of Melbourne. And to go see one of those comedians was like $15 for like an hour-long show. And we went and saw that, and we got talking to they had like promoters there, and they're like, "Oh, you want to come see? There's this underground bar, and we've got I forget what the term is, but it's like a group of comedians that were like had won some festival thing, and they're there. And one of them was a comedian who I can't remember where she's from now, but I think her name's Claire Hooper, maybe.
I love her.
So anyway, she's funny, and she does some really funny stuff. So we went there, right? My mate takes us up to the front row center and sits us down. I'm like, comedy shows, we don't do this, man. He's like, "Nah, it's great. We can see everything." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the point. They can see us." He's like, he goes, "Promise we won't do anything stupid." I'm like, "Why would you say that unless you were thinking about doing something stupid?" Anyway,
it's always the first one.
It was perfectly fine. If anyone's ever listened to Claire Hooper stuff, it's always it seems very wholesome, but also there's like, there's a bit of innuendo in there as well. So you sort of go, "Oh, I get what she's talking about, but not everyone does. Anyway, so she was talking about relatable shit like taking the bus to work and weirdos that you'd meet on the tram, and she goes, oh, and there's this she goes, on my tram line there's Jesus Christ. He's on there every second day. He sits in the same spot, always, Jesus Christ. My mate turns around and goes, are you on this tram line? And she's like, yeah, I am on that tram line. Like, I see him all the time too. And she's like, yeah. So he gets on at this stop. And I'm like, I just stop. And I looked at my mate. These two are just having a full-on conversation. The rest of the room's just standing around while they're describing how they run into Jesus every day and how nice the man is, and then trying to figure out whether or not he is actually Jesus. And I'm like, guys, there's other people in the room.
Did you forget you're supposed to be entertaining us?
I mean, it was entertaining, but I was just like, my mate was just like, he was just fucking just having a conversation. And he just kept on like, how they just keep going. I'm like, wrap it up. Before, it gets embarrassing. But yeah, it was, we ended up having a chat to her after the show, and she was just, awesome. But it was just, I just remember this, like, he's like, I won't do anything silly. First thing he did, just start a conversation. Like we're at a bar or something like that. But yeah, it was fun. The comedy festival was great. That's one thing I'd love to go and do more of, is do that. And there's a couple comedy clubs nearby as well. And like they're like 24/7 comedy clubs. You go there and people are practicing their stand-up and stuff like that. And usually around the same time, like a lot of A-list guys will go there under different names and sort of practice their stuff. It's okay. But there's definitely sometimes you go, oh, this guy, this is his first day. They get up, they're like, how about that airplane food? Nope. All right. So anyway,
that's
my
a Jerry
girlfriend
Seinfeld line if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, it's like they've watched that. Anyway, we went there once. It was me and my mate from high school who was visiting, and just and my girlfriend at the time, and then this sort of mutual friend that we kind of tried to like set up with my mate, who they got along really well actually, but she was kind of smarter than him. I don't know. That's probably the nicest way to put it. Anyway, there was 3 comedians that came up. There was one guy who came up who's obviously he's been at the club many times, but he's never gotten any further than that. So he was funny, but it wasn't fantastic. Next guy got up. He only lasted about half his thing before it got really awkward and he kind of just left. Last guy gets up.
The crickets?
Oh, yeah. So then this last guy gets up. He's this Asian guy who would have been maybe 20 years old. He was a young guy. Made no eye contact with the crowd. Just completely looking down at the ground. Walks up to the microphone and just without even saying hello, who am I, or anything like that, just started rattling out jokes. Just rapid fire.
Interesting.
Was the funniest fucking thing, and we had no time to like prep yourself for the next joke because they were just coming so fast, and they were so funny. It's like he'd practiced 45 minutes of jokes in the mirror so much that he could just remember it all off by heart. Just rattled out his jokes and then walked off the stage without saying a word. And it was so funny.
What a guy.
I was just like, damn. It's like, that's so good. I was so happy to be.
That's one way to be remembered.
Yeah, well, except I don't have no idea who he is and I can't follow his stuff or anything. But
well,
it was good. It was funny. Yeah.
A mysterious man.
The mysterious man. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but there was a guy at my work. He was. If everyone's ever watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, right? He was like the Hitchcock and Scully of my work. Like he was just dumb, but but we kept him for so long. Like we should have fired him, but we kept him for 4 more years. He was just really dumb. There's no dancing around it. So I'm just gonna say his social awareness and his like just his ability to talk to people and stuff was 0. Was absolutely like -10. Like this guy did not know how to read the room or know anything. And he used to come up and just say the most offensive jokes out of nowhere and then giggle to himself. And I'll be like, dude, no, it's not cool. You can't do that. He once came up to me while I was like working, like serving a customer. The customer wasn't with me at the time, but I was still doing work. He just came up and he's like, check this out. And he like shows me his phone with porn on it. And he's like, does that look like anyone you know? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking to me about? It's like, no. And oh man. So anyway, I got to this point where I realized I could just say whatever and he just ignores me anyway. So the amount of times he'd come up and he'd be like, do this. And I'd be like, just don't talk to me, all right? You're an idiot. And he'd be like, okay. And then he would just walk off. And it's like, and then, so it's one day we're closing up. And he used to say every day he'd finish with, all right, guys, I'll see you in the funny pages.
What does that mean?
And then he would walk off. You know, he kind of, now that I think about it, he kind of looked like a sad Drew Carey. All right.
Oh, man.
But
I mean, I feel like even if you look like a happy Drew Carey, that's
It's still not good news.
Yeah.
so
That's
this one
not
day,
compliment.
it only gets sadder. I'm sorry. This one day he said some joke, and then he goes to me, oh, I'll see you in the funny page. I said, mate, you're a fucking comedian. You know that? And he goes, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, you should do stand-up. It'd be great for everyone, you know? And he goes, oh, I've done stand-up. I'm like, oh, really?
Oh.
It's like, yeah, I went to the comedy club and I organized a routine. I'm like, tell me everything. And he goes, I came out. He said, they announced me and they had like an MC there and he was announcing this guy. And he said the crowd seemed really into it. Like they were getting a lot of laughs and stuff. And then when I came out and I started talking, no one laughed at all. And
Can't
after
imagine why.
after 5 minutes, the MC came out and started making some jokes at my expense, and they got a lot of laughs. So I kind of left the stage, and the MC just joked about me for the next 40 minutes. The crowd really liked it. Like, oh my god,
Oh, that sucks.
Could you imagine the bloody MC walking out and be like, "Get a load of this guy." Sad Drew Carey, everyone.
Oh. It becomes a roast. Oh my god.
He was an interesting fella.
That's how schools get shot up.
Thank God he
Jesus
wasn't
Christ.
American then, I guess.
No, he
Whoa,
wasn't.
Shelby, calm down.
What do you mean, calm down? You started.
We already have Pratts and Alati out here thinking that whenever they come to America, just as soon as they get off the plane, they're going to be handed a gun.
Look, okay, this guy, because like I said, we should have fired him a long time ago. Like there was some red flags that were definitely there. A couple times I had to stop him because the way he was driving a forklift was just dangerous. Like he wasn't watching, or he just seemed like he didn't know what he was doing. Stuff like that. And I remember the day, which was like years later, and I got distanced away from him because we became a bigger company and there was more people between having us to talk to each other. So that was nice. But I remember he was doing a U-turn in a truck and he smacked into a pole. And when they asked him what the reason for him hitting the pole was, because he hit it hard, he's like, "Oh, when you speed up, you turn sharper, yeah?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, I thought I was going to hit it, so I sped up."
What?
And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Do you think if I offer to pay for it, they'll let me keep my job?" And I think it's time you look for a new job, my man. It's like, what?
I thought I was going to hit it, so I sped up.
I want to give you an idea of what this pole looks like, because this is the bit. It's a car park, right? There's nothing in this car park. It's completely empty. Huge car park. There's no bars or anything like dividing the spaces. It's just asphalt with painted lines on it. And then there's one single pole in that car park next to a disabled spot to make sure no one parks next to the disabled car park. That one pole in that entire car park is the pole that he hit. There's just a photo of a huge empty car park and a truck hitting the single pole. So anyway, he got fired that time for good. He's the guy who because we got like a 3 warning system. He's like, all right, here's your first warning. You know, don't let it happen again. Second warning, 2.5, 2 3/4, 2 3/5. It's like, oh, God damn it, just fire the man. All right, so he's gone. Anyway, he disappeared, never heard from him again. I just thought this guy is just not fit for society. He'll probably go out into the desert and starve to death or something like that. No. Saw him 6 months later. I saw him. I didn't talk to him because I didn't want to. But he had a baby. So he you know.
Oh, somebody did that?
Somebody did that.
Crazy.
And that was the exact text message that I sent everyone at my work when I saw him and took a quick snap and said, "Look, somebody did that."
Got a baby. Oh my god. Sorry. Well, I mean, for the caliber of people that I grew up with, you know, there's a lot of people who had kids that I've had that exact thought about. So,
well, it goes to show there's someone for everyone.
yeah.
Apparently.
Unfortunately, he wasn't the weirdest guy I ever worked with.
Who was the weird?
I think I briefly mentioned Toaster on the podcast.
Yeah.
He was a guy that we called Toaster so we could talk about him while he was around us.
Oh.
So we'd be
Code
like,
words,
fuck
got it.
me. That Toaster is giving me the shits. Right? Can anyone and he'd be sitting there going, yeah, I hate toast too.
Oh, poor guy.
So bad. Yeah.
So if this was oh god, if the other guy was Sad Drew Carey, this guy was Drew Carey had sex with fucking what's the guy from Family Guy, the giggity guy?
Quagmire.
Yeah, and then had a kid, and then that kid failed. This is this guy.
Oh boy!
Because this guy, he came to me. They hired him, and they said, "Oh, he's a little bit older." And this is what the boss told me, because I was the manager at the time, so I managed everyone, right? But the boss did the hiring because he has to do something for his ridiculous paycheck. And this is what I got told. Oh, he's a little bit older, and there's just something a little different about him. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, you'll figure it out. I'm like, okay. And anyway, I met this guy. He has zero filter to go with his social awkwardness. And it was fine when you sort of say, stack these shelves, do this, put this stuff away, serve these customers, whatever. That's all fine. But it was then we started getting weird complaints. And then from customers. And there was one customer and they're like, can I talk to you about the staff member? I said, yeah, sure. And they're like, okay. He just sort of came up to me and he asked me, what do you do when your baby has diarrhea?
What?
And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like,
Have a baby?
I wasn't sure if he worked here or not, but when I saw he was in the shirt, I figured he might be. But when I asked him if he could help me with the stuff, he kept talking about a baby. And I'm like, you know what? I'll help you. And look, we'll hook you up with a good discount. And let's never talk about this again. But that was like one of many. So then the question is, did he have a baby? Yes, is the answer. Yes. He, we're going to get a little bit sensitive here, but this is all factual, so deal with it. So he went to the Philippines and he paid an exorbitant amount for a girl who then
I'm listening.
And then got her knocked up. She then got on the plane and came back with him here, where they got a house and everything together, had a kid, and then as soon as she got her not like citizenship or whatever, her ability to stay here for a long term, she bailed and left him with the kid.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Took his house.
That was her plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And he fell for it. And then he moved back in with mum, and it was just him and mum living. This guy was 38 at this point, and had a child that he basically got his mother to look after while he went out. And apparently he tried to go back to the Philippines to get another wife, but she took the money and didn't come back with him. So fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I guess.
You did what you were supposed to do.
So that gives you a bit of context to him. Now, this is where he starts to grind my gears, all right? I would be having my lunch, and most of the time, lunch back then for me was I had my shitty phone with shitty internet on it.
You ate your phone?
And no, I ate fuck all. But it'd be like I would be watching like gaming news on my phone, usually with headphones in. Just because anyone else comes in and has lunch, you want to be respectful to their space and time.
Right.
Yeah. He comes in, sits down, puts his phone on the middle of the table, dials his mother on speakerphone. And then goes through all the different women that he met at the over 30s night at his local club last night. And in great detail. Like, I don't know, Marge, you didn't have big tits, and I kind of like big tits. I'm there trying to eat my fucking meat
at
pie
this
or
point,
whatever.
beggars can't be choosers. I mean, if they don't have much in the titty department, I think he's just going to have to deal with it.
Like, at some point, you should just be single forever, I think, in this case.
Accept defeat.
Just throw your life into raising that child of yours, please. Anyway, he made a lot of things. He got into a fight with a customer. A customer tried to knock him out once for being an asshole. When I say asshole, like, he came up and said, "Can I help you, sir?" And then he was like, "No, I'm good." And he's like, "I have to help you. You need to listen to me." And he's like, if you don't step off, I'm going to punch you out. and he didn't step off.
This was at work?
At work.
Oh.
That was a very awkward conversation because that guy, I was half tempted to be like, all right, you get one free punch to the customer. But I didn't. I didn't do it. I did the right thing and I implemented it. Anyway. And then there was a case where he got conned. It was like someone just figured out that this guy was just not clever. And he's like, oh, well, I've got an empty gas bottle. Can you fill it up? And he's like, yeah, we can fill it up. And then as he was filling it up, he's like, can we get a new one, though? And he's like, yeah. He's like, are you going to keep the old one, though? And they're like, oh, we probably send them back to the supplier. He's like, well, if you're not going to keep it, can I get that? And he's like, sure. And then this guy walked out with 4 gas bottles and didn't pay for any of them. I'm like, if you can't, I said, do you know what you did? He's like, I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, you got outsmarted. This guy just straight up. Anyway, so I went up to the boss. This is all true, right? This is all over the space of probably 8 months, right? I went up to the boss and I said to the boss, can we get rid of him? And they're like, we have no staff. I'm like, no one wants to work. We can't find any staff at the moment. I'm like, this guy, I'm better off having no staff than this guy. This guy has more work than it's worth. And they're like, no, you got to keep him. You know, he's like, they go, oh, that's right. He did he went to get a roll of plastic. Instead of getting a ladder, he just climbed up on top of the shelf and then dropped the plastic onto himself and fell off. And then he tried to do a work cover claiming that he was on disability now. And then when they knocked it back, he's like, actually, I'm fine, and just came back to work again. And then I was like, we need to fire this guy.
They let him come back?
Yeah. Like, well, this is okay. So then the boss was like, we can't sack him because he's just gonna try and sue us. Like he's gonna look for a reason to sue us if we try to, because that just seemed what he was now. He didn't want to work. He just wanted the money. So anyway, this is where it's like, I'm like, all right, fine. I won't let him touch customers. I'll just get him to do the stuff that I know that he won't screw up on, and we'll deal with it. We
shouldn't be touching customers anyway.
Well, wouldn't surprise me. So then, in confidence, he told one of the staff members that he'd started work at another job. I'm like, another job?
Oh.
Because they told me immediately, like, he's got another job now. Can we sack him? So then I reduced his hours. Like I just took it. Like I'm like, we're gonna go lighter this week. It's been quiet. Blah blah blah. You're right. Cool. I'll drop you off Mondays or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. It's fine. He never mentioned anything that he was working at this other job. And then I said to the boss, I said, well, now's the time to do it because he just got this other job and he thinks that this is the bee's knees and he won't even care if we sack him. And he goes, well, the football grand final's coming up and no one wants to work it. So if you can get him to work that, you can sack him after that. I'm like, all right, challenge accepted. So I literally did all the rosters and everything, and I just took him off the roster after grand final day. And on grand final day, which is like, particularly where we are in the city of Melbourne, like it's held at the stadium in this suburb. 100,000 people go there, and then another couple 100,000 people stand outside and get pissed. So like no one comes shopping. There's no one there. I don't even know why I bothered to be open. Anyway, on grand final day, he comes up to me and goes, "Oh, what hours am I on going forward?" And I said, no hours. Today's your last day. And he goes, "That's all right. I got another job anyway." I'm like, "Oh, really?" He's like, Yeah, it's much better. I'm like, all right, good luck. That was it. Never saw him again.
That's one way to do it.
I'm like, damn, that works. But oh my God, he was stressed. Like he gave me stress and nightmares. Oh man. And then I can't remember what he did. He did some weird side hustle job. I think it was like testing and tagging or something like that. And he had this old beat up Ford Falcon bloody car, and he had his phone number was the entire back window of his car. And I remember I was at the bar with some of the girls from work, and they were getting real drunk. And they're like, "Hey, do you want to message him?" I wrote down his number off his car window, and like they started messaging him all this filthy stuff, and then he started writing all this filthy stuff back, and I'm like, I am not comfortable with this.
You're invested.
Oh man, it was yeah. It's another time. I mean, I'm sure that like if I really wanted to, I could probably find these people on Facebook and find out where they're at in their life. But honestly, people like that, I didn't know they existed, and now that I do know, I don't want to know them because they're real. Yes. Really something. I kind of feel bad for the kids, to be honest, because they are. If adults can't stand them, it's going to be very questionable upbringing.
Well, kids don't know any better.
That's the problem. Hey, kid, you realize your dad's just dumb, right? Your You're probably smarter than him.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but having said that, I worked with him for 8 months, so that's the kind of caliber that my boss thought at the time. That and then he hired me as well. Kinda. What does that say about
He
me?
puts you guys in the same pot.
Basically.
Yeah.
I definitely worked with a lot of weird people, but those two in particular, like, I would pay good money for the two of them to have a conversation.
No.
It's like, damn, something.
I don't think I've really worked with anyone that's. Oh, actually, you know what? I have different kind of person. I worked with a coworker at the last job that I was in, which was a small boutique. There was 3 staff members. It was myself, my boss, who was really nice, and this questionable woman. She was in a cult of some kind, maybe potentially the cult leader or something like that. Kind of felt like a pyramid scheme cult. Like maybe she was kind of a leader, but there were leaders on top of her and she was trying to recruit like leaders. I don't know. It was interesting. It was Christianity based, but it seemed to be like Christianity extreme edition in some ways. So this is the kind of woman that when the pandemic started, she told me that God would protect her. If God wanted to protect her and keep her safe and she's been a good person, God will protect her. But no, and I'm not trying to rag on people who believe in God, whatever. But she was a bit extreme, and she said to me, "The people who get COVID deserve it. They're sinners."
What?
She said that to me.
I remember you telling me about this, and I was just like, "What a crackpot!"
Because I was sitting there worried. Like, my dad's immunocompromised. I'm immunodeficient. And I was worrying because this is the start of the unknown. We didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah,
and I was openly worrying at work. Anyway, so time starts to pass a little bit. Like we start like doing sanitizing at work and everything. And a few weeks later, my boss calls me and goes, "Well, for the sake of this, we'll just call her Veronica. Veronica has decided that she's not coming to work anymore because she's scared she's going to catch COVID." And
she's been sinning.
Immediately,
oh no!
Immediately, I just said to my boss, "I'm just like, but she told me God would protect her.
Yeah.
She was favored by God." Not only that, though, not only the COVID stuff, but she would actively try to recruit customers who came in, and she would then invite her entire church to come shopping, which meant more than twice. I had people who, I don't know what it is. Maybe they can smell it on me that I'm like, I've gone through shit and like I've got mental health issues or whatever, but they want to pray for me. And sometimes I think it's a bit insulting, like in a weird way, because they just want to hold my hands and pray for me. And then I start to wonder, did Veronica just tell them about me?
Possibly.
She's inviting people in to pray for me.
I've only got my experience with like very religious people where they were like the nicest people I've ever met, but they are definitely the sort of people to be like, "Oh, this person, they're going through a rough time, so we should really pray for them. Let's get God."
Like they're nice, but like this, it's like
I've seen both sides. I've seen the crazy side, and I've seen the ones that are like, "Wow, you're way too nice for this world," and also probably too nice.
It's
for me.
nice, but you can tell that they're also heavily indoctrinated.
Yeah,
and like it feels a little bit creepy to me sometimes when people like recite things and like it feels like a cult. I have like eternal discomfort with religion, with organized religion, because I've been the sort of person who's been like, people have told me that I don't deserve to live because I'm queer or I'm mentally ill, blah, 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 all those sort of stuff.
I've got a religious thing. My primary school had religious studies.
Yes.
I don't know if everyone did, but mine did. And I always remember this because it was like traumatizing. But I remember the teacher going, "Do you believe in God?" And I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. Like, do you go to church? I'm like, no. And then she's like, "Well, you don't get Christmas, right? Santa doesn't love you, and you're not getting any presents."
Oh, that's really specific.
And I was like 10.
No.
And I'm like, what the fuck? But that's that same cult mentality. It's like, you're not one of us. You don't get the perks. I'm like, wow.
How dare you?
I'm dobbing. That's pretty much what I did. So I want my presents. Yeah, it's yeah. Going back to there was I did formal training, like proper certificate training in back everything. When I'm referring about this timeline is back when we were an independent business, because we're a corporate business these days. So we've definitely changed. here, well, we were an independent business, and I was trying to work my way up to management position, whatever. And I was doing this course where basically most of it's on the job training. You do a bit of home stuff, and then you meet with your trainer once every second week. And I met with this trainer, and she's like, "Wow, you've really picked up on this. You've done all the course. You actually done next month's course as well. That's good, I'm like, yeah, I just want to get this done so I can get the piece of paper. So I can have a piece of paper that tells me that I know what I'm doing, because I already know what I'm doing, but I have to pay squillions of dollars for this fucking piece of paper. Because I was a real, I still am a cynic. Anyway, she goes, "Oh, wow, you should look at branching out into like other like business ventures as well." I'm like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Yeah, there's actually one I can tell you about now. Basically, you can sign up for it today. I can sign that up for you, and then you get sent this package, and then you can actually recruit your own team. And you'll get you'll be able to sign them up to your team and stuff like that." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I get signed up by you, and then people sign up to me, and we sort of form this pyramid.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
She's like, "Oh, no. It's a reverse pyramid." And then she gave me this pamphlet, and it's literally an upside down pyramid.
The triangle.
And I went, "Okay, well, we're good here. I'll see you in 2 weeks." And then I went to my boss and I'm like, "The trainer that we're paying thousands of dollars is trying to recruit me to a pyramid scheme." God damn it.
I have actually a similar thing. This will be quite wild. So I was at work, and this was at a furniture store, massive company, and they decided to actually pay for a massage therapist to come in and actually give us back rubs for a day. It was great.
Ooh.
It was a great idea in theory. Now, I have to say, it's been long discussed on the last 2 podcasts that I'm apparently a witch. Okay, whatever.
Happy Friday the 13th.
Psychic witch, whatever you want to. But I go into this room with this woman, and I'm expecting just a massage. Not only that, she goes, "I can sense you're a really spiritual person." As she's rubbing my back, and she goes, "There's
she knows.
I feel like you've lost somebody in your life." And I'm like, and I'm awkwardly just trying to get around it, but I'm also really polite and just answer people. And I said, "Yeah, well, I had a friend pass away." And she goes, "I sense your friend's spirit is here, and she tells me to tell you not to worry anymore." And then I just got, I must have just, my muscles just must have tensed because I got super uncomfortable. And then she just kind of stopped and she goes, "Do you want me to stop talking about that?" I said, "Yeah." And then just the most awkward, silent massage after that, because it was really uncomfortable. Don't tell me you're talking to my dead friend while I'm just trying to get a massage because my job makes me have back pain.
Wait, how did we get here?
Religion and spirituality. We followed the
hang on.
stories.
So
I'm not kidding.
What kind of massage therapist comes in? Did someone
She a
walk
medium
into
as well?
walk into
Did
a
she
tarot
get-
card
did-
place and
I
be
don't
like,
know.
"Do you do massages?"
She had incense going and stuff like that. She was a really one of those kind of people who's super, I'm so spiritual, but she's also really the whitewashed kind of toned down version of spirituality where they just all assume that they're all psychics. That's
illegal.
But just
It is.
just she's also was just trying to prompt me to talk about dead people. How is that meant to make me relax when the company is paying her to make me relax?
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Right.
and afterwards, I just wanted to have an anxiety attack, so they sent me home.
Yeah,
That made me relax.
That massage really got the anxiety in me.
The anxiety is now out, and it's everywhere now. So can I go home?
The ye old Uno reverse card.
Yeah, that's it. I know that friends of mine that used to work at a phone company that doesn't exist anymore, but they prided themselves on going, "We know that your job's shit, so we're going to make it as good as possible." And they
Was
actually
it Crazy
had,
John's?
it was Crazy John's.
Oh, okay.
And they actually had a masseuse that comes in once a week to get all that tension from dealing with dumb customers out every week. You're paid for it. It's within your business hours. Just go in, sit up in the back room, away you go, and get the tension out. But it's the stories of stuff that happened at that phone store in particular was a massage doesn't fix that.
No.
It doesn't get rid of that anxiety. And I don't know if we might have mentioned it. I've definitely told the story before of there was a store. This was actually it was after Crazy John's. It would turn into a Vodafone, I think.
Yes.
And there was a store in Collins Street, which is it's a reasonable part of Melbourne, right? And this guy came in and he walked up to the counter, whipped his dick out, and just started pissing on the counter.
What?
And
Where did you say this one was again? Collins Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, it checks out.
So they called the police while the guy was just pissing. He had a bottle of wine in his back pocket, apparently. Was hammered. The cops apparently turned up in under 1 minute. And the first things they said when they came in is like, we have to see this. And just arrested the guy and for just being drunk, basically. But it's just like, what the fuck? That sort of shit happened on the regular. There was another one that was like right in the city center, like near the Burke Street Mall. And like, there was like I can't remember the full story. A guy came in and he's like, I'm having a heart attack. Call an ambulance. And then the ambulance came. Like, you're not having a heart attack. He's like, yeah, but I need you to take me to the hospital. It's like, what? Anyway,
do you guys have to pay for your ambulances?
You do if you don't have like healthcare or an ambulance membership. But it's cheap.
Basically, there's a really cheap Ambulance Australia membership, or you can, if you have a low-income healthcare card or any sort of like concession card, you're covered. Or if you have private health insurance, you're covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like the equivalent of spending $12 a month or $1,000 on your hospital trip.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like
that shit ain't cheap.
Yeah. Well, if you buy a membership, it's cheap. You just got to remember to do it.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, if like you have to pay out, fuck that shit.
Yeah. But it's like, it's just, yeah. All I'm saying is, mobile phone shops, and it's probably a question for Vince when he's on next, is they're a nightmare because people come in. He works at Vodafone. Yeah. One of them. I'm pretty sure it's Vodafone. Anyway, but yeah, it's not so bad these days because so much shit's done online, and like if you ever try to call your phone company, there's so many machines trying to stop you from talking to a person before you actually get to talk to a person. It's not so bad, but back in the day, you had to go to your phone shop to get half your shit done, and half your shit was just a horrible experience. So you're always frustrated and angry in general. But,
yep.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, they used to have massage people. You go in there and tell them about their dead friend. No, they didn't do that. They just actually gave them massages. So
I should have just done like the since I'm apparently a psychic / witch, right? I should have just done the switcheroo and been like, no, I sense your dead friend here.
So let's sidestep into that for a second, because right now we're recording it, particularly here in Australia at least. It's Friday the 13th.
Yes,
it's
Is it Friday there yet?
It's Friday the 13th everywhere in America besides Hawaii and I guess Alaska. I'm not sure what time zone Alaska's on.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's like, what is the deal with Friday the 13th? It's like I don't fucking know. Everyone's like, we have to play scary games. It's Friday the 13th. Like, is there like a witch thing about this? I'm asking because you're a witch.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, of course she knows. Yeah.
It's a superstition. There's a couple of reasons about it. So basically, and I just had to make sure I got my right information. Yeah. The superstition appears to be related to the extreme tragedy of the trials of the Knights Templar, Assassin's Creed, which started with their arrest in Friday the 13th of 1307, which was perpetrated by Philip IV of France. Wait, is that the fifth of the fourth? Fifth France and his councillors with aims to acquire wealth for the Templars.
Fuck you, Philip. How dare you?
Damn,
so there's a lot of superstitions about it. So like there's the Last Supper, which had the 13 individuals present in the upper room. So there's 13 of them.
Going back to the other one. So it was like 1303 when France, and I'm assuming like somewhere in the UK.
1307, yeah.
1307. Was that in France or was it like somewhere in the UK that they...
It was in France.
It was in France? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, like...
It's also 13 is prominent in the Norse myth as well. So
can we get an Assassin's Creed about this?
Yes. And honestly, it's probably mentioned in Assassin's Creed somewhere.
Can we get witches in Assassin's Creed? I'm sorry. I'm going on a real tangent here. Go back to what you said.
Okay. An early documented reference in English occurs in Henry Sutherland Edwards' 1869 biography of Gioacchino Rossini, who died on Friday the 13th. He was surrounded by the last admiring friends, and if it be true, like so many Italians, he regarded Fridays as an unlucky day and 13 as an unlucky number. So it's remarkable that on Friday the 13th he passed away.
So, okay, all that stuff...
So there's lots of reasons, lots of compounding reasons.
So take all that into account. Why is it spooky? I mean, none of that seems spooky. It just seems like, history stuff. Yeah.
So there is a section here about like societal impact.
Sure.
According
Let's
to
hear
the
it.
Are you on
stress
Wikipedia?
According to the Stress Management Center and Phobia Institute in North Carolina, an estimated 17 to 21 million people in the United States are affected by fear of the day. So making it the most feared day and date in history. Some people are so paralyzed by fear they avoid their normal routines in doing business, taking flights, or even getting out of bed that day. It's an estimated that between US $800 to $900 million is lost in business on this day.
You know what? We laugh, but I just realized.
That's kind of nuts.
Check out episode 13, people.
Good point.
And we didn't even do it for that reason.
No.
So apparently, statistically as well, people are less likely to get injured on the Friday the 13th because they stay inside and they don't do anything.
They're in lockdown.
Yeah.
You want to know how much I don't give a shit about Friday the 13th and the spookiness that goes around it? Until you brought it up, I fucking forgot it was supposed to be Friday
I did too.
the 13th.
It was honestly because I'm working with the Starlight Foundation for charity stuff, like we always do, and they're like, "Oh, we got spooky streams tonight for Friday the 13th." And I'm like, "Wait, what? It's Friday the 13th?" And it's
Is there a spooky weeb game you can play?
I mean,
that was probably that was the really factual explanation of Friday the 13th. By the way, do you want the more witchy answers?
Sure. I just want to know what ties the number Friday, like the date Friday the 13th, to spookiness, because all it sounds like is unluckiness.
Easy. Mike Myers.
So basically, because with like a clock has 12 numbers on it, Friday the 13th is considered like is a number of transition and change. So 12 is completeness, 13 is transition and change, and is constantly at odds with 12. People in general are resistant to change and reluctant to take change when times are going well. So it's like, that kind of thing. In China, the number 13 is associated with good fortune and not bad luck.
Really?
So interesting. They think number 8
I was
is
going to
bad
say,
luck.
no way.
Yeah,
no.
It's 8.
No, it's not. 8.
It is. It's
lucky.
number 8.
Bullshit.
No, 8 is bad for them.
Continue. I'm going to.
So a lot of floors in Chinese apartment buildings don't have floor 8.
Didn't they like temporarily postpone the Olympics one time because it was going to fall on the 8th?
Yes. In Italy, it's Friday the 17th that's considered to be the bad luck day. But 13 also represents the numbers of revolutions the moon takes around the earth in a year. 13 was the number of regeneration for the pre-Columbian Mexicans. I have no idea what that means.
Pre-Columbian Mexicans.
In ancient Israel, 13 was a sanctified number. 13 items are decreed necessary for the tabernacle. Tabernacle? I feel like a bad witch person. Is a house of worship.
She admits it.
At 13 years of age, a boy is initiated into the adult Jewish community. I don't know what that has to do with witches. In Wicca, participants of covens gather in covens of 13. So witches gather in numbers of 13. Where's my 12 friends? Why am I alone?
They have to be witches?
Got to find other witches, yeah.
All right, we have to go back, right? Because 8 is a lucky number. And I know this because when going back to when I had lots of friends who worked in telecommunications, Chinese people would pay big money to get as many 8s in their phone number as possible.
You're right. It's number 4 that's unlucky.
Right. Because I was going to say, and wherever there's like a high Asian tourism, like casinos, for example, all the winning things is like on the blackjack, they'll have the card 8 there. If they're playing roulette, it's landing on 8. Everything's shown to be 8. Right. And then I quickly looked it up and it said in the 2008 Olympics, the opening ceremony commenced exactly at 8 minutes and 8 seconds past 8 p.m. on the 8th of August on the 8th month of the 8th year of the 21st century.
Right.
They fucking love 8.
Okay, they love 8. They don't like 4. That's what I was thinking.
All right, good. I just want to correct that.
Final point.
Wait, they love 8? Okay, then I remembered it wrong.
Final point about Friday the 13th. The biggest reason for the Wiccan is why it's so infamous is in Norse culture, the beloved hero Balder was killed at a banquet by the mischievous god Loki, who crashed the party of 12, bringing the group to 13.
Yeah.
The story, as well as that of the Last Supper, led to the most entrenched 13-related beliefs. You should never sit down to a meal in a group of 13.
Interesting.
Wait, what about my culture?
What?
What about my culture?
Oh yeah, because you're a Viking, aren't you?
Well, no, you said Norse culture.
Oh, Norse. Okay.
Just one more random fact about 8s. All right, the number plate 8888 sold for $17.2 million in China.
That checks out.
I believe it.
God damn. But yes, it's interesting. I suppose it's the superstitious. Is it
I mean,
probably where it
this
falls
part's
into?
really kind of like fun that comes from this is in Britain, Friday is a conventional day for public hangings, and there were supposedly 13 steps leading to a noose.
Huh.
Jesus.
Wait,
what?
why does it take that many steps? I mean,
'Cause,
unless
it's
you're literally
intentional.
taking
Like,
like,
no,
that
they
many
mean like
steps.
stairs. Like,
Oh,
No, I
okay.
gotcha.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I
So
thought I instantly went to a picture of like an old timey English bar, and this guy sitting there drinking. Then a guy comes up and he just starts like measuring out feet. They're like, "What are you doing?" It's like 13. And he's got a noose on every shoulder. He's like, right here, we'll just put it up right here.
That's how death operates in Britain. He just like shows up with a noose. He's like, hold on, wait, stay right there.
Yeah, I've had too much to drink.
Yeah, it's that's wicked.
I initially thought it was just like it took 13 separate steps to get the
Sorry.
noose ready.
I've done a little bit of like superstitious witchcraft. Do you want to know one that I did recently that you might have picked up on?
I don't know if
Did
I
you
want
put a
to.
hex on him?
I bought a chunk of rose quartz and gave it to Aladi. I left it in the drawer next to the bed because it's meant to lock you in with me. Yeah. Then I moved in.
Wait.
It's
He's
true.
not from the Philippines.
We have no baby either. It's I definitely did notice that, but that's fine. I know a little bit about the crystal stuff, just a little bit.
Just, I was like, you know what? I'm not like a witchy person, but I think this will be funny if he realized why I've done it. So I just left you a shiny rock.
You know what? That's probably the old way of doing it. Like the back where witches they get the different crystals. Modern days, it's just like toothbrush and like some shoes and some conditioner and stuff.
I definitely left bobby pins around.
That's
and,
what I mean. That's the same. It's
so.
the same energy, right? It's just like if I just start moving stuff over, and he doesn't complain about it, and I can add to move some more, and then eventually I'm there. And we're in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
But
then I slowly, try to get rid of his stuff, and then it's my place, and you just keep going.
I'm in that phase now, just getting rid of your stuff, getting rid of your nice stuff first.
One of my
No
exes
air
did
fryer,
that. One of my exes did that, and then when we broke up, I had I took all of her shit and put it in a bag, and I said, "It's here whenever you want to come get it." And she was like, "Okay," and she was gonna text me whenever she was gonna come drop by. And I was like, I'll leave it on the porch. She said, all right. Yeah, she never came by. So I was like, all right, I'm burning it.
I forget what show it is. I think it's like maybe like How I Met Your Mother or something like that. And like Barney has like a cupboard of all the ex-girlfriend stuff. It's like, if you're missing stuff, I got spares that are left over from past relationships. But yeah, I'm just saying that like you didn't have to leave a rock here. You already left your other crap here anyway. So
you did try and give me the rock back. You I put it.
Oh no!
When you moved it, so
I said, "Is this your rock?"
Well, it wasn't Chip's rock.
Chip would love a rock.
I just want to say, I gave you the rock, and shortly after you were asking me to move in with you. So,
you think it's like accurate?
It totally worked, right? Yeah.
Really?
No, or he just was tired of.
So I wonder what other.
Hang on. So
what rock can I give you to make you like buy me stuff?
Fucking money, gold. Gold rock will make me buy you stuff.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll do it.
It's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty easy. A solid rock.
Can I get some stuff too?
$100 notes. Yeah, it's what was I gonna say? I forget now. But it's is that like? Do you think that you altered fate with your rock, or do you just think that?
No, I just love coincidences.
Oh, so
that's why I like
in London was never purchased. That rock would never ended up in your hands.
Mm-hmm. This is my question: is it a coincidence or is it fate?
What do you think?
No,
you're the one who got the rock.
No. You, I'm asking you. You're the one who thought that you needed to put a rock there.
Let's talk about.
And went home and giggled. You went, hee. I got him now.
I got him.
Let's talk about like in a psychological sense. If we're talking about like, because I believe strongly that psychology has a big effect on this witchcraft people do, this modern witchcraft.
She's not answering the question.
I think there's because
honestly,
did you probably see on TikTok like a lot of videos of girls giving rose quartz to people and hiding in their cars and stuff? Because I was watching a lot of those videos.
No, I haven't actually.
Right, because that was a thing. I saw it tons on TikTok. Girls were like, I'm hiding pink rose quartz in my boyfriend's car, in my boyfriend's house, or under the pillow, that kind of stuff.
I had a friend that used to sell the crystals. That's why I know a little bit about it.
So then I thought, I'm just going to, so we went to a crystal shop and I'm like, I want to buy it. Hold on, I'm going to answer when you get to it. So I was thinking maybe like you saw that and you were like, because you know a little bit about the crystal, you saw that and you're like, wow, she really wants me to stick around. I'm going to ask her to move in with me.
So, Norstar, I want to point something out here.
Maybe it's a slippery
Yeah, I'm
cycle.
listening.
Slope.
Some
If you ask me
people-
a question, I will answer it.
Some people just overthink things, you know? They
Yeah,
really just take that narrative and they run with it.
Just a
I can
fucking
understand. I can
joke.
understand.
Come on.
It's that fucking old meme that goes around. It's like, I wonder what he's thinking. He's obviously thinking about other girls, and you know, am I still pretty enough? And then it goes back to him, and he's like, do snakes have toes?
Wow, sorry for me assuming that you had like. Sorry for me assuming that you had like some brain cells and you were thinking like. And then sorry, my mistake. I shouldn't assume that you were thinking.
Well, I'm actually a firm believer of what's meant to happen happens. So
Yeah,
just,
You know,
I
just go
mostly
with
am
it.
too.
I commented on this Facebook post the other day that this girl I know had made, and it said, you know, we sent a man to the moon one time, but why did we stop there? Why didn't we send them all? And I commented, and I was like, wow.
That's
That's
great.
fair, but still, wow.
That's pretty good, though. I like that.
Yeah.
Look, I think there's one thing we should try one day. You know, witchcraft stuff. We
No.
should try. I saw one on TikTok where people are trying to
Here we
see
go
if they're
again.
if somebody's hexed them
No.
and put a curse on them.
No.
And you put 2 matches in
What
a bowl
if the
of
answer's
water.
yes? What if what if you get it goes, yes, you're cursed? This is like Homer when he does the quiz and finds out he's got 3 weeks to live. All right?
There's like
don't
a
wanna
cleansing
know.
thing, right? Then we can break the curse if we know about a curse.
This is like the
Listen,
Ouija board. I saw this funny clip with the Ouija board where someone put a Ouija board as a mouse pad, and then they're using their
no.
mouse on the Ouija board, and then it cuts to like the demon's point of view. And he's like, "What's it trying to say?" Like that's exactly what we're talking about. You're talking about
You're very threatened by a bowl of water and 2 matches, aren't you?
Listen, Jimmy Hoffa taught me, don't ask questions that would be a burden to you
Yes.
if you get them.
yes, that's the point. It's like it's better not knowing. Because what if you get it says something and you're like, oh god, now we have to do something about this because
I mean, it's pretty easy to break a curse once you know about it.
really
Yeah.
it's easy to break curses.
Yeah, I also know how to
Why isn't
curse
everyone
people.
doing it then?
Yeah.
I mean, does they
Tell
they
us.
don't know if they have been?
You know, I'm gonna tell you this, all right? And this I'm gonna ask the question is this fate or coincidence? All right, all right. This is true story. All right. So I was moving to Melbourne was a decision that I made over the space of 1 week. As in 1 week I was not moving to Melbourne, then the next week I was going to Melbourne. So I knew nothing about it. Moving from the bush out from the desert into the big smoke, as they say. So I was quitting my job.
Right.
I quit my job, gave them 2 weeks notice, and by the end of that 2 weeks I was going to be in Melbourne. Got a big map out, and I said, all right, I work in a hardware store. I know shit about hardware. I'm under 18. They can pay me minimal wage. They're going to love me, all right? I've got fucking 5 years experience, and they can pay me $8 an hour. This is going to be great. Put down this map, and I went, all right, got Google out, and I looked up all the different hardware stores, and I looked at the independent ones because I was coming from an independent one. So I put a cross on all the home hardware, as they were called back then. Fun fact about home hardware, their mascot were dogs, and instead of having catalogs, they had dogalogs. Clever play on words. Remind me about them, because I've got a story about the dogs in another episode. Anyway, and then I went and got a cross and I put it on all the different Mitre 10 stores on this big map. And then I looked up who the contact is at each of the stores, and then there was 3 stores that had the same contact. I'm like, well, 3 birds, 1 stone. I'll give these people a call. Gave them a call, asked for a job, said, you know, I'm coming down, chance to get an interview, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, we could probably do that. Except I'd stuffed up on the map, and where I put the cross for the store was like 1 street over from where the store actually was. I'm like, so I turned up to this place, and I'm like, well, this isn't the store. And then I looked up the address, and I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. It's 1 street over. So I went 1 street over, went to work, got my job there, and they're like, cool, you can start basically immediately. I'm like, cool, I need a week to find a house. And they're like, okay. So I was sleeping on like a second cousin's floor that I'd only met when I moved to Melbourne. They were the nicest people in the universe. And I went around looking for a house, applied for a heap of different houses. We're looking at all these houses and eventually got one. That house that I got was where the cross was. Exactly. The one that I put in the wrong spot was on the house that I ended up moving into and living in.
Weird.
Spot on. Coincidence?
Yes.
I definitely think that there's such thing as fate. I definitely think.
I drew a random cross on a map and ended up living there.
I think it's there's a gray area and a fine line between those two.
Well, I'm asking, in this case, would we call that coincidence or fate?
I would call it a coincidence.
Shelby.
I would think that is. I think that's fate. I think, and I also think, like, you know, wanted to move here. And I found it, and I wanted to also be able to work. And I wanted to also work from home, and I found a job literally in the same suburb that suits me perfectly and is mostly work from home.
But to be fair, you went through. So, and again, question of coincidence or fate. You went through an all hell trying to get a job, and you went to other places that were offered you jobs, changed jobs, wanted jobs.
I turned down so many offers.
Like you were all over the place, and you're like, I don't know if I want this job, or I don't know, should I take this job, or should I go for that job? And then you end up with this other job, and you're perfectly happy.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe meant to be.
I think it was right. I think it was.
By the way, this cross house is also the house that I referred to where I met like a friend's cousin at a bar, and then he was living in that exact house later on in life.
Okay, the house is haunted, by the way. Just letting you know.
It had a giant pink wall. You would have loved it.
Okay, I would have liked it, but still haunted. Cool, but still haunted.
It,
yeah, but that's right up your alley.
The fun fact about this place, it backed onto a train line. So it was like
train ghost
every 15 minutes. It's like, okay. And after like 3 months, I didn't hear it anymore. But then people would come and visit, like, holy shit, what's that? It's like, oh yeah, train.
That's right.
Right.
So it was yeah, that was an experience going from nothing to living in that apartment. And basically for the first 6 months, I'm like, I'm in the big smoke now. I could get stabbed at any moment. I better not leave the house.
That was kind of mean in Sydney, not gonna lie.
And like, there's no Uber Eats or anything back then, or Uber. So I used to walk and catch the train to the supermarket and get food, and then like come back and then never leave my house. Just I think I watched a lot of pirated movies because I was so poor. Good times, great times. But yeah, I think that's I have a few times where stuff like that's happened, and I go, well, shit, meant to be, I guess.
Well, okay, all right, I have a big question. We talked about, crystals, whatever. We talked about our relationship. Do you think meeting me was fate?
Oh, no, that was a mistake. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's very random, and particularly in the way that we met each other. And then obviously when you tried to talk to me by asking for a microphone arm, and then I spent hours researching microphone arms to make sure I was giving you the best information. As is the duty of a dedicated streamer and content creator to give your best advice to the people that may, be fans of the channel and so on. And then you went out and brought that microphone arm, right?
I bought a more expensive one. I listened to Pez and I bought the one he told me to buy.
Yep, so I'll go fuck myself. It's fine.
I only asked you about the microphone arm because I wanted a way to talk to you.
He spent his time and energy for nothing.
I remember where I was when those messages... I was at work. I stopped working to look up these microphone arms. And then you're just
me asking
voices and words.
Me asking you about the microphone arm, right, is the equivalent of a girl coming over to you in a bar and being like, so what do you do? And like twirling my hair around my finger. That was that equivalent. I didn't actually care what the answer was.
Have I told you guys about the King Kong motherfucker? Have I told that story?
I vaguely remember that.
I think I've talked about it before, but it basically, to Shelby's point, this girl came up to me in a bar, sat down, looked me in the eyes. There was a few of them. And she goes, what porn do you watch?
Oh.
I'm like, what? She's like, what porn do you watch? What do you like? What kind of porn do you get off to? I'm like, I'm sorry. Who are you? And there was like, I don't know. There was like 6 of them. And then one guy. And they were just weird, first of all. But also... I don't know. She was like really forward and asking these questions. I was kind of just like dead batting them, going, "What is going on?" And my mate, who was extra drunk and he's a bit of a hothead, was sitting in the corner next to me, and he was like going, "What is?" It's like, "What is going on?" And then these girls were like talking to him as well, and he's like, "Get the fuck away from me, you weirdos!" And the girl's like, "Wow, what's your deal? We're just having a conversation." And he's like, "Just don't fucking look at me. You're fucking weird." And then the guy came in and he said he was pointing at something. I think we'd finished a meal or something like that. And he was pointing at this food, this plate that was on the table in front of us. And he said something like, "Oh, what's the food like?" or something like that. And he heard something else completely. My mate did. And he just goes, "Don't fucking point at me, you fuckhead." And it's like, and the guy's like, "Wow, don't be so fucking rude." And he's like, "Nah, fuck you." And then the girl's like, "What's wrong with your friend?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I kind of just want to leave at this point. This is weird," because I was very drunk as well. We used to go to like the bar every Friday and get hammered. And anyway, security came over. Of because my mate was yelling shit, right? And the security came over and said, "What's the problem here?" And my mate's like, "This guy's a fucking dickhead." and then security's like, "All right, mate, get out," to the guy, not my mate. And then all the girls started piping up. It's like, "What has he done wrong, bro? This is bullshit." Yeah. And then my mate gets up and he's like standing up in his chair and he's just pointing at him and giving him the finger. He's going, "Fuck off, you King Kong motherfucker." And the security guard's like just totally ignoring my mate. They're grabbing this guy and making him leave. And my mate's just dancing, going, "King Kong motherfucker, King Kong motherfucker." And I'm like, we should leave.
Yeah.
But instead, the security guard kicked him out and the 6 girls. And they were all out the front trying to like wave down a taxi to go to another place. And then me and my mate walked out. And I forget what he said. He said something fucking smart ass as he always does. And it's just like, he's like, "Fuck off, you weird bitch," or something like that. He goes, as we're walking out. I'm like, can no one see my mate being an absolute tool? it's like invisible. But it's like, yeah. Anyway, that was probably the last time that a girl ever walked over to me and made a conversation. And it was the weirdest conversation of my life, basically. So, when you ask, when you can you say that asking about a microphone arm is the equivalent of a girl coming over and making small talk. That was the last time a girl made small talk to me in a bar. And we'll never know what happened because my mate was weird. Anyway, yeah.
Right.
it's such a bizarre thing. And then, like, I remember we went to work because we had to work the next morning. And he was a hothead, but we had to work. Like, everyone was on holidays or away. So it was just me and him holding down this entire store, basically. So I needed him to work, and the way that I got him to work was like every Friday I just go and get him pissed drunk so he could blow off some steam, and then he would turn up to work the next day. Okay, otherwise he'd be too fucking heated. And we rocked up to work the next day, and we're like, "What even happened?" He's like, "I don't even know." We just continued working. That was it. There's just nothing else to it. We never know what happened. We just
All right.
just an event. But yeah, I don't. That's the sort of shit that we probably don't do anymore because of COVID. But yeah, every Friday night used to get drunk at the bar. And
here I am looking up tequila, thinking maybe we should get some tequila delivered to the house.
No.
Wait.
Like we're back to the start of the.
Shelby, can you calm your witch powers down a fucking notch?
Did you just
Okay,
order some
because
tequila?
no, because I literally picked up my bottle of tequila as you said that to take a little sip. Get out of my head.
Sorry, I live here rent free.
No, Cupcake does, and I try to get her to pay rent, and she won't. And I
I'm
said, "Well, can you at least
Cupcake's
make
roommate,
breakfast?"
okay?
Well, she won't even make breakfast either. I'm like, what?
I'm her friend who crashes on the couch in the awkward common areas. So you have to wake up and tiptoe around, okay?
Is that why I haven't been able to sleep lately?
Yep.
Oh my god. Anyway,
Apparently,
before you had spoken of Assassin's Creed.
yeah.
So the last time I played Assassin's Creed was when I was Mr. Lunchbox.
Well, there you go.
That's one way to transition into it, right?
To a Mr. Lunchbox. How long ago did you
about that?
How long ago did you change your name from Mr. Lunchbox to Norstar? And did people what did they call you for short? Lunchbox.
Yeah.
Like, yo, Lunchbox over here.
Lunchbox, Lunchy. Mostly two guys called me Lunchy.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's been a little over 2 years now.
Oh, really? That soon?
Yeah, it hasn't been that long. I want to say it was around April or May, 2+ years ago.
And why'd you change from Lunchbox to Norstar?
Well, so I actually wanted to rebrand long before I did. I ran with the Lunchbox name for a while before I even was a streamer. And then I started, I had a couple of different variations of Lunchbox, but then I eventually changed it to Mr. Lunchbox, and it stayed that way until I became Norstar. And I liked it for a little while, but then I realized I didn't like it anymore. And I want to say I hated it, but I didn't really enjoy the brand that I could build with it. It just limited ideas that I had for it. So I wanted to rebrand for a long time, but then I started kind of taking off with COD and getting consistent viewers, and that's what they knew me as. And then it got to the point where, towards my ending stages of COD, I was averaging 30 to 40 viewers. It's I can't rebrand. And then I quit. I quit COD, I quit console, switched to PC, and I pretty much lost the majority of my viewer base, if not all, for a while, and had to rebuild. So I was like, well, now's a better time than ever. So I spent some time. I spent some time getting used to PC and what games I wanted to play, and before I wanted to transition anywhere, I wanted to, because I'd never really played with a mouse and keyboard. I was straight controller for a long time, so it was a bit of a learning curve. And once I finally got in the groove and figured it out, because like I'm an FPS gamer guy, so I needed to be able to understand how to play FPS games good before I would even attempt to rebrand.
Yeah.
So it took quite some time, and I actually, when I finally decided to, I spent over a month trying to come up with a new name, and I kept wanting like to go back to being Norstar, but that was taken by fucking some 12-year-old in his mom's basement who has an inactive account, and I can't get the name. So like I kept wanting that name no matter what I tried to do. Like that's what I wanted, and then I was like, I spent all this time, and then I realized one morning I could just abbreviate it, and sure enough, it wasn't taken.
Yeah, right. Well,
But I was Mr. Lunchbox for quite some time.
It's funny you mentioned the 12-year-old thing. 'Cause I remember early on, a few years in, there was a kid that took ZLB. So it was like youtube.com/ZLB was what it was coming up as. And he was like a 12-year-old using his mom's iPad to upload videos of him opening up football cards in the UK. And that's all fine. Like I wasn't annoyed by that. The thing that annoyed me was that he was like quadrupling my views instantly with these. He's like, oh look, I opened a card and I got this guy. Yeah. And I'm like, oh cool. 4,000 views. I'm like, cool. Yeah, cool. Here's my edited fucking Black Ops 2 montage where I got like captures from 8 different people and cut them all together over the space of a month. Here's my 12 views. Yeah. I'm like, God damn it. It's like, how is this kid doing it? But I remember saying to the guys, I'm like, I don't fucking know if it's even worth doing YouTube. This kid's got to smash us so easily.
Well, when it comes to COD, like it's really hard to break out with stuff like that.
We broke out because we played competitive, and
that's kind of how you have to.
Yeah, and that's where we did it, where we were doing scrims and entering into tournaments and stuff like that, and doing things like Cyber Gamer, and it was a New Zealand-based good game that we did really well with as well. And you know, people like Taco Cat and Bread Fan, who were OG ZLB members from the start, they were all part of that whole process, and like we weren't just good at the game, but we're entertaining, so that went really well. And that's where my first 1,000-odd followers on Twitch came from, was just doing those sort of games so long ago. To the point where
relatable,
yeah, to the point where I couldn't stream it because my internet was shit. So I'd get them to log in and stream it onto my account from their point of view, sort of thing. So it wasn't even me streaming for a lot of it. As a whole, we're talking a long time ago. But going back to the naming convention, I remember when there was a group of us, the founders, if you like, who were like, we need ZLB. We need not ZLB. They said we need a new clan was the pitch, right? They're like, we need a new clan. Clans were in, they're fucking ridiculous. They were all shooter clans. It was all Call of Duty, Battlefield, were the main ones. And we even had someone who, I forget, they did some random game. I can't remember. Anyway, with these clans, they had rules, lots of rules. You had to play X amount each week. You had to do coaching sessions. You had to do scrims, everything, just to be a part of the clan. You don't do those things, you're not part of the clan. You can't play with these people. That was the rules. And it was like seriously to the point where you have to wear your clan tag. And if someone from your clan wants to party up and you're with other people, you have to party up with your clan first. That's the rules. So it's all this shit. So everyone's like, we want to play games, but we don't want to fucking do the rules anymore. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then that's where I came up with this whole thing. And I said, all right, we're not going to be a clan anymore. We're going to make a community. And I remember everyone going, haha, community, lame. And I'm like, thank you. All right. And you fast forward fucking 8 years and everyone wants a community, right? It's a bloody, so naming was first thing. We looked up so many names. If you ever go to, I think there's a website, it's like name.check. You can type in a name and it tells you how many different services, social media, stuff like that are taken by that name. And we spent a month just punching random words. And I remember because I was living with one of my high school friends at the time, was crashing with us because he was working in Melbourne. And I remember we'd be up at night, fucking drinking now iced coffee, playing games, and just going, what about this name? Nah. What about that name? Taken. And then like we'll be at the bar, we'll be at the dinner, so many, just all for a whole month. And then we came up with a bacon zombie, which is an Urban Dictionary term, which is basically an old person who hasn't gotten over the old memes that is the internet's only there for bacon and zombie jokes. So a bacon zombie, that's what it means, right? And then we're like, huh. And then we did a play on words and made it ZombiesLvBacon, which wasn't taken anywhere. And we can abbreviate it to ZLB or ZLBHQ. And they weren't taken either. And then we went and snapped everything up and built a website, which was basically a forum to begin with, where people can sign up to like community safety sort of guidelines. So like, don't be a tool, be over the age of squeaker, things like that. And we went out to market on the first day of the year 8 years ago, and we said no required hours. We just play games. It was a place for like-minded gamers to come join. So Discord didn't exist back then. Facebook existed, MySpace existed, fucking Google Hangouts. That was like, it was a totally different landscape. And like the thing that I could offer them was that I'll make videos, like I'll make YouTube stuff so you can get your shit on YouTube, because not everyone could get stuff on YouTube, and everyone wanted to be in a COD montage or something, So I'm like, I can offer that. We'll do that. We do merch. We did hoodies and hats and all sorts of shit. And then people will be like, oh, I want to, start an esports team. Like, sweet, we'll find some people, put them in, let's go. We had like 170 odd people on that website by the end of the first year. And
nice.
Yeah, posting memes and hooking up, playing games. And a lot of them were console based, a lot of PlayStation gamers. And we did a thing where we'd either play a free-to-play game or like a cheap game, or even a game you could rent. Every Monday, so we went back and played all these other random games, and it was great. But it's like, I kept my name as Alati, but we created this community. Everyone hated it when I called it a community, but I'm like, it's a community, get used to it. We created this community that would just play games and stuff like that. Got rid of clan stuff and did that as ZLB or ZombiesLvBacon, and we even had a few people that had gone on to be very successful. We had people that were actually on American television for like esports reality shows that were, honoring members of the crew and stuff like that. And like, it was really organic growth. It was really good. And everyone was really nice. We only ran into a couple hiccups where, I had like someone that was claiming they were of age, but really they were like 9 years old and stuff like that. Just little shit like that. And just bat them away. I think the closest thing we had to Discord back then was Skype. We used to have a lot of Skype calls and Google Hangouts and stuff like that. But that's what you had back then. And what we built in terms of we updated the website every year like clockwork. We said, this is the headquarters. This is our website. We're not going to do, like, we had a Facebook group and all that sort of stuff, but it's like, that's their platform. We always need our platform, because if something happens with Facebook, and boy, oh boy, in the last 8 years, it's shit happened to Facebook. You have no control over that. You have to do whatever Facebook wants you to do because it's their platform. Where if we had a website and a forum, we controlled that. So that was the importance of having all that stuff. And then obviously Discord came in. Once Discord settled, we got rid of the Facebook group and away you went. But it's like, before that, I think, so in terms of community, before that, the clan was, I think a lot of us were playing in Reborn, was a clan. Like, before that, we were part of the H2O PMS clan, which
what
was
the fuck?
It was a big American-based clan where in particular, they pushed like female pro gamers, which was the PMS clan. And then they had like to use today's terminology, they were like the male allies for female gaming with a H2O clan. And a couple of those guys took off and got viral. And then a couple of the girls in particular got picked up for like reality TV show stuff. People that know will know, but like that shit doesn't really exist anymore now. Like there's plenty of communities, but there's not really, I don't know. I don't really see clans kicking around much anymore. Not like we used to.
They're still like the OGs, but I guess, there's probably a bunch of no names. I stopped following anything related to like clans and COD for
back in the day. Like, if you think of Modern Warfare 3, and I know we're getting the COD territory, so Shelby's not going to say any word. But like, we get to Modern Warfare 3, you had a clan, you had to do clan activities to unlock more clan stuff. Like, that was heavy. Like, I remember I used to have to get up at 3 a.m. our time to do clan activities to keep our clan in the gold with the fucking different things. So, but now just doesn't seem to be a thing.
I just want to chime in here before you go all COD.
Good, we're done.
I was reminded of that name check website, right? So I went to name check.
I
put in my name, and it says shellbunny.com is taken. I was like, who's taken that? I click on it, it redirects to my Twitch. Yeah, I forgot about it. It was me.
Oh, nice work.
Way to go,
genius. So now I'm just going to plug myself at the end of this by going, you can find me at shellbunny.com.
That's brilliant. It's
one-stop shop.
It's like the time that I was like, I don't know if ZombiesLvBacon's going to take off. Really need to have a plan B. Like, shit, I better get a Lardy. I better make sure I've got twitch.tv/Lardy. And I went, checked, it's taken. I'm like, fuck, taken by who? And I looked it up, and I'm like, and it goes, put it in your email if you've forgotten it, stuff like that. And I'm like trying to just crack trying to figure out who's got it. Anyway, I was doing all that, and then I got an email saying someone's trying to break into your account, Aladi. I'm like, oh, that's me.
Oh,
It reminds me of the meme with two Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
It's literally Who is it? It's me.
I went to my website. You can buy my merch there. I have a merch store. You can watch my stream and send me money.
I don't want to bitch on anyone in particular, but this is just a general conversation about companies, especially small companies. If you have a website or a company and like you have no contact me or no about us or no way to talk to you or email you or call you, and any of the services that someone's looking for are listed on your page, but the links are broken, you're not going to get any business.
that's true.
Please fucking do better, because I found something that I really want, but I can't talk to them because they don't have any way of talking except a live chat box that doesn't work by the looks of it. Just fucking do better, all right? Discoverability and contacting is like step one for small business shit. I mean, seriously, come on. Just frustrations. I don't know. I'm struggling at the moment. Some stuff I'm trying to work on. I just need someone to give me the time of day to talk to me. A lot of people be like, I'm too busy. Lockdown really affecting me right now. We do that, but we're not doing it now. It's like, all right, cool. Well, thanks for coming, guys.
What are you trying to buy?
I'm working on like greater brand stuff, particularly for ZombiesLvBacon. But what I want to do is like the stuff that I do, like my art, my merch, music, and stuff like that. A lot of that is outsourced through companies like Fiverr or whatever, and they're all worldwide. They're everywhere. I want to try and get someone human that I can talk to, like for merch, for example. Talk to someone who's in Australia about merch, who prints it in Australia, like someone who I can support, like a small business sort of thing. And there's a couple. There's one that everyone uses, and instantly when I yell out, go, hey, does anyone know anyone who does merch? Like, these guys do. I'm like, yeah, but if you go to their website, the first thing they say is, no, we're not adding anyone to our website. Stop asking. There's a waiting list for crying out loud. But no, everyone just keeps tagging them. I'm like, yeah, okay. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
It's a big fucking no homers club, but it's the no ZLBs club. Not allowed in there. So I've been trying to find anyone. There's a lot of companies that like Australian based, but then when you look into it, they're printed in America and they send over and they're all being brought out by some conglomerate. It's like, bruh, it's just, I just want to find those small companies. But again, if they haven't done their discoverability, made it easy so I can't just find them, then it's step one, pain in the ass. So anyway, it's just frustration. I'm trying to find somebody. Otherwise, I'm going to get it from America, and then Americans are going to have a great fucking time. But Australia, they have to pay $15 for fucking postage and handling. That's US.
So what you're saying is tax
Happy
sucks.
Norstar.
Wait, what about me?
Yeah,
Because you're American. If you wanted any ZLB match, my friend, you're in luck.
Nice.
Yeah. There's some fucking great companies in America. All the ones in Australia are like shithouse to begin with, and then like the ones that I can get to anyway. A shithouse, and then you look at it and they're actually based in America, or an American company brought them, shut down all their shit, made it so that they buy stuff on that website, and then it just sends that order to a different website that's an American one and places it on their behalf. I'm like, well, that's just a bit cheeky, isn't it?
I actually have so right now I run mine through Streamlabs, but a lady I work with, she does real estate on the side, where she'll like buy up cheap houses that are foreclosed and get them at auction, and then either sell them or rent them out. So she does that, plus works there, but she also has a graphic design business where if it can be put anywhere, she can put it there. She can make car vinyls, all that shit.
Nice.
So I'd spoken to her a few times about doing like t-shirts and coffee mugs and shit like that, and getting the like base price and all that. And she told me like if you buy a couple, that's what this will cost. If you buy in bulk, stuff like that. I need to come up with the funds and all that. But yeah, I'm probably gonna end up running my merch through her. As far as if someone within the states wants me to ship it to them.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think like I've looked at Streamlabs and Stream Elements and stuff like that. And their merch, it's cool, but it's all very new. Like it's
Streamlabs. So I haven't actually tested any of their stuff, but everyone that has purchased like hoodies and t-shirts from them with my stuff on it, they have said that it's one of the most comfortable materials that they've ever had.
Yeah, you'll find like man, I've been doing so much work on this shit lately, and I've done it since day one. Like I said, 8 years ago we had merch and plenty of it, and like you find that most of the print places are buying the same materials, like the base shirts and stuff like that, they're coming from the same wholesalers or like the same group of wholesalers. That's all fine. The printing method's always a little bit whatever, but it's mainly around their back end and their UI sort of stuff. So can I design what I want to design? Can people buy it at a reasonable price easily? Do you get ripped off for shipping? It's that sort of stuff. And like you name it, I've tried most of their companies like Teespring and like Redbubble and Designed by Humans. Like we've had shit and all those stuff in the past, and it's all fine. But it's like I switched to a proper e-gaming place that did like jerseys and stuff like that here in Sydney, where basically they do all the work and then they send it off to a printer that imports them, and then they see it, check it, and then send it over, which worked fine. But then it just, I don't know, their business just kind of imploded because they were having trouble with like stuff getting shipped in and it was a bad quality, and and like we don't see it, but they deal with it all the time. And I'm just like, okay, well that's not happening anymore, so I need a new one. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I will probably end up going with, if I have to do international stuff, I'll go ultra premium and just be like, well, if you're going to spend X amount of money, it must be cool stuff that I could print all over the shirt, on the sleeves, everything. Because some of them are just like, you can print in this 3-inch by 3-inch square on the front. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. That's boring. I want to do cool stuff.
Well, if you did, and for a company that you don't actually have to pay anything, I think Streamlabs is the route for that. And their shipping is really good.
Yeah.
Like,
Elements
Luna,
has copied them as well.
She ordered her hoodie, and my sister had ordered her shirt. They ordered at the same time, and Luna got her hoodie before my sister did.
So
my sister's in Hawaii.
I just read, because I have a Streamlabs store. That's apparently where I have merch. Forgot I had merch. Anyway, so I just added a hoodie to my cart to see how much it would be in shipping here. 75 AUD. So
to what, $75?
Yeah.
To ship it?
No, and to get it.
Yeah. Well, Streamlabs is cheaper.
You can change your price.
Sorry, Stream Elements is cheaper. But anyway, the thing with Stream Elements was when I went to go to designing stuff, it's all pretty basic, and I'm like, I don't want to do it if it's going to be that basic.
It's really simple.
Something that has changed a lot compared to when I used to do it, years and years ago, is almost every single website that I've looked at now, they're like, get samples, dude. Order samples. Like, we'll send you out samples that'll be less than cost. We'll send them out to you. I'm like, bro, they never used to do that. I used to have to just buy shit from my own store and then get my commission from my own self to give to me. It's like, I'm just, it's just stupid. Now they're like, particularly Stream Elements, they just keep hammering it. It's like, you get 5 items, get your samples now, get there, take photos. This is how it sells, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, that's correct. Well, but also, I don't know if I'm going to be using you guys. So. And I can't remember. I shouldn't call them out because I don't fucking remember the details. But there's one place, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. You can print anywhere. Like, you can get a hoodie. You can print all up and down the sleeves. It's full print coverage. I'm like, this is cool. I'm opening the store here. So I opened up the store and I got into the design phase of it. And I'm like, and then it goes, no, you can only print front or back. I'm like, no. I designed my own shirt before I did the sleeves. And it wouldn't let me do it. So I messaged them and I said, I did my own design, and now I want to add it to my store, and it won't let me. And they go, the store designs don't let you do those things. That's only if you do customer designs. I'm like, why? You obviously have the ability to do it. Why? And they're like, that's just the way it is. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not opening a store here. Fuck you. And then left. It's like, why? Why? Anyway, it's a frustration. There's definitely a market there for someone just to come out and just open a fucking, particularly in Australia. America, it's a bit more competitive, obviously, but in Australia, there's no one that is open to doing merch in-house for everyone. Like I said, there's a few exclusive clubs that are now closed, but in terms of getting merch and I don't know, it's like it's a big thing, and I'm aware we're good on time, but like, it's a big thing at the moment. A lot of people are like, Twitch do better. We want to diversify our revenues from Twitch. A lot of people are doing the coffee thing, or Patreon, or just like trying to move to different revenue streams, not just rely on what Twitch is offering them.
Right.
But I feel like
OnlyFans.
I mean, yeah. I mean, old mate Hot Tub Streamer made over $1 million in a month of OnlyFans alone. So
nice.
Yeah, if you got him, shake him. It's
the Cash Me Outside girl. The night she turned 18, she started an OnlyFans. She made so much money.
Yeah. A lot of people.
That's creepy though. When some people are just waiting for someone to turn 18, it's still predatory. It's gross.
It's gross, but like from their point of view, they're just
it's legal, but it's disgusting.
as the person who cashed in, they're just opportunistic hustling. That is.
She's not cashing you outside anymore. She's just cashing out.
She like that's a whole other thing. She like squillions and just fucking getting added to rap videos to just be fucking for the clout. She just made fucking money being trash. Imagine.
Pretty much.
Yeah. If only I could do that. So I'm paying me trash.
Scam. Speaking of scams, do you want to know what the biggest scam that I can think of, at least as of late, that I have witnessed?
Okay.
All right, so Shawnee's getting a new graphics card, right?
Yep, graphics
getting
cards are scams. That's a known fact.
Getting the 3090, yeah, which he had a 3070 and he sold his 3070 to his dad.
Yeah.
The scam is that his dad bought the 3070, but his dad was the one that originally purchased the 3070 for him, and then he sold it back to his dad.
It's true.
That's a scam.
It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a circle scheme.
He made out great.
Yeah, you're right.
You ever pay for the same graphics card twice and only get to use it once?
This is like the fucking guy that worked for me that ended up giving away 5 gas bottles. You know, it's fucking. You got outsmarted.
Yeah, good on you, Shawnee.
Well done, Shawnee. Oh man, on that bombshell, I think we'll wrap it up for this week. We're pretty good on time. Shelby, is there anything you would like to cover off before we wrap things up?
I'm gonna find out if we're cursed. Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah,
if she comes up and just starts throwing holy water at me, we'll know what happened.
We don't do holy water. I would be throwing like leaves and rocks at you.
She comes, even better. You're a fucking magpie. You come in here, you start throwing leaves and rocks at me. It's like, all right, we're cursed. I get it. It's like, now that I think about it, you leaving stuff here and like including the rock and stuff, it's nesting. You're making a nest.
No.
Yes.
You gave me the draw, you know.
Oh,
Speaking of that, I think we should just make like a Shelby and leave this episode of the podcast.
Leaf.
You can find all of your curses and psychic bullshit at shellbunny.com.
Oh my god.
One-stop shop.
Yeah.
Cursed merchandise.
And Norstar, where can people find you? Do you have Norstar.com?
I have Norstar on Twitch, but like I can't get regular Norstar anywhere else. So it's Norstar TV on every other social platform.
Hell to the yeah! And make sure
now
you're following.
It's Nor without the TH. It's abbreviated.
Norstar. Yes. Make sure you're following the ZLB podcast on Twitter and ZombiesLvBacon everywhere else. There is a website, but it is down for construction because I'm currently trying to learn how to make a website. But so I can't give you zombies. It used to be ZLBHQ.com. It does nothing at the moment. It'll come back once I figure that out.
Zombies website?
Oh, it's been there forever. Actually, there's a back door. You can get into the old forum and have a look at the old posts still.
I do love back doors.
I bet you do. And on that bombshell, thanks for listening to the ZLB podcast. We'll be back next week. And have a lovely week. See ya.
Bye. Wahoo.
Wahoo.